the faint rhythmic ticking of a grandfather clock in the hallway, and the scent of dried lavender clinging to an old wool sweater. It's quiet here. Just the amber light of a single lamp casting long, soft shadows across the floorboards. I want you to take a moment to simply arrive. If you've spent the last decade, or perhaps your entire life, feeling like a ghost haunting the corridors of your own existence, I want you to know that I see you. If you have been carrying the heavy, silent weight of being an observer, watching your own hands move, hearing your own voice speak, but feeling as though you are miles away, tucked behind a thick pane of frosted glass, you are not lost. You are simply waiting to be found. I have stood exactly where you are, in that strange, hollow middle ground where life happens to you rather than through you. I remember looking into the mirror and seeing a stranger's eyes, wondering when the real version of me would finally show up to take the wheel. It is a lonely way to live, being the silent curator of a life you don't feel entitled to inhabit. We call it protection, our nervous system's way of pulling us back from a world that felt too sharp, too loud, or too demanding to face head-on. But today, the glass is allowed to thin. Today, we aren't performing for anyone. Now let us step into the archive of the heart and speak to the version of you that was never heard. In this corner of the archive, the air is thick with the dust of things left unsaid. This is the space where the observer was born. I spent so many years here, watching the world from the safety of the shadows. I remember being at dinners, at celebrations, even in moments of deep grief, and feeling like I was reading a script rather than feeling the pulse of the room. It's a somatic distance, a literal pulling away of the soul from the skin. Can you feel that right now? As you listen to my voice, notice the space between your thoughts and your physical body. Is there a numbness in your fingertips? A hollowness in the center of your chest, like a room that hasn't been lived in for years? This is the archive of pain, where we store the memories of times when it wasn't safe to be fully present. Perhaps you were the child who had to monitor the emotional weather of the house, becoming an expert at reading others while becoming a stranger to yourself. You learned that being an observer was the only way to stay safe. If you didn't engage, you couldn't be hurt. If you stayed in the balcony, you wouldn't trip on the stage. But there is a cost to this sanctuary of distance. When we numb the pain, we accidentally numb the joy, the connection, and the very vitality of being alive. We become a passenger in a vehicle we were meant to drive. I want to validate that weariness you feel, the exhaustion of pretending to be there when you are actually hovering somewhere above or behind yourself. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to maintain that separation. It is okay to be tired. It is okay to admit that you are lonely even when you are surrounded by people. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's just been working overtime to shield you from a reality that once felt like too much to bear. But here in this dim, quiet library of the soul, the shields can be lowered. We aren't looking for a fix. We are simply acknowledging that you are here, even if here feels very far away right now. You are not a ghost. You are a living, breathing being who has survived by retreating, and today, we are going to gently invite the resident back to the house. I want you to reach out now and find something physical near you. Perhaps it's the smooth, cool ceramic of a tea mug, or the rough grain of a wooden table. For me, it is the weight of an old fountain pen, its metal body cold against my skin. Take a deep, slow breath, in through the nose, feeling the air expand your lower ribs, and out through a soft, parted mouth. Can you feel the weight of your body in the chair? Can you feel the floor rising up to meet the soles of your feet? This is where the integration begins. We are moving from the balcony of the observer down onto the stage of the living. It can feel frightening, I know. When we have lived for so long in the attic of our minds, the sudden descent into the body feels like entering a room where the lights are a bit too bright. But you are safe here. I am right here with you, holding this space, feeling the same tremors of return. I'd like you to take a piece of paper, something with a bit of tooth to it, something that will catch the ink, and a pen. Don't worry about the quality of your thoughts or the beauty of your handwriting. We aren't writing for an audience. We are writing to anchor the soul. I remember the first time I tried this. My hand felt heavy, almost numb, as if it didn't belong to me. I felt that familiar urge to drift away, to watch myself write rather than actually feeling the movement of the nib. If you feel that pull to dissociate, simply acknowledge it. Whisper to yourself, I am here. I am in my hands. Look at the blank page. It isn't a judge. It is a mirror that doesn't distort. I want you to start by simply describing the distance. Use the pen to bridge the gap. Write down the words. There is a glass between me and the world. Notice how it feels to form those letters. Is there tension in your shoulder? Soften it. Is your jaw clenched tight, guarding secrets you haven't even told yourself? Let it drop, just a fraction of an inch. As you write, I want you to focus on the somatic sensation of the pen hitting the paper. Feel the vibration traveling up your fingers, through your wrist, and into your forearm. This is you, affecting the physical world. This is proof of your presence. I often think of this as the release ritual. We are taking the nebulous, airy sensations of the observer and giving them weight, color, and form. When I was deep in my own observer phase, I felt like a balloon tethered by a very thin string. Writing was the act of pulling myself down, hand over hand, until my feet touched the grass. I want you to write about a moment today, just one, where you felt like you were watching from afar. Maybe it was a conversation at work, or the way you brushed your teeth this morning. Describe it as if you were a narrator in a book. And then, I want you to do something different. I want you to write a second paragraph, but this time, write it from inside your skin. Use sensory words. The water was cold. My feet felt the tile. I heard the hum of the refrigerator. Do you feel that shift? It's subtle, like the turning of a key in a rusted lock. Your nervous system might react with a bit of anxiety. That's just the good child or the protector, wondering if it's safe to be seen. It's okay. We are just practicing. We are teaching the body that it is allowed to be inhabited. I want you to spend a few minutes now just letting the pen move. If you find yourself overthinking, go back to the breath. A long exhale is a signal to your brain that the predator is gone, the storm has passed, and the sanctuary is secure. I used to be so afraid that if I truly landed in my body, I would be overwhelmed by the archive of pain, that the sadness I'd been observing from a distance would finally drown me. But what I found, and what I hope you find too, is that the pain is much more manageable when you are actually inside the house with it. When you are observing, the pain is a monster in the dark. When you are present, it is just a guest in your living room, one that might need a cup of tea and a bit of recognition before it decides to leave. Notice the ink as it dries on the page. It's a permanent record that you were here. You occupied space. You moved air. You created something out of nothing. This is the heart of somatic validation. You aren't just thinking, I am here. You are proving it through the resistance of the paper and the flow of the ink. As we sit here in this amber-lit space, let the silence be a blanket. There is no rush. There is no right way to reintegrate. Some days you will only be able to stay in your body for a few seconds before the observer pulls you back. That's okay. Those few seconds are a victory. They are a crack in the frost. As you finish your last sentence, I want you to lay the pen down and place both palms flat on the paper. Feel the warmth of your hands. Feel the texture of what you've written. This is your safe space, and it is portable. It lives within the reach of your own arms. Take one last deep breath, feeling the expansion of your belly against your waistband, acknowledging the physical reality of being a human being in this moment. You aren't watching the life, you are the life. You are the one who feels the paper, the one who hears the rain against the window, the one who is slowly, bravely coming home. The pen is back in its tray now, and the paper holds the weight of what we've unburdened. But the work doesn't end when the ink dries. In many ways, the most vital part of this journey is what happens in the quiet hours afterward. What I like to call the Sunday reconstruction. Coming back into your body after a lifetime of observing is a profound tectonic shift for your nervous system. It's like stepping off a boat onto solid ground after months at sea. The earth might feel like it's still swaying for a while, and the stillness itself can feel unsettling. You might feel a strange vulnerability, a vulnerability hangover of sorts, where the world feels a little too close, a little too real. That is why we create a sanctuary of maintenance. We don't just open the door, we learn how to keep the hearth warm. I remember the first time I felt truly in my skin for an entire afternoon. By evening, I was bone-deep exhausted. My inner child, the version of me that had spent decades guarding the doors to the archive of pain, was terrified. It wanted to run back to the safety of the balcony, back to the shadows where nothing could touch it. If you feel that urge to retreat tonight or tomorrow, please be gentle with yourself. Integration isn't a violent forcing of the self into the present. It is a slow, rhythmic invitation. It is the persistent, tender act of making your body a place where you actually want to live. We are not forcing the occupant back. We are making the house a home through constant, soft validation. Think of this period as a slow Sunday evening. Perhaps you brew a pot of tea, watching the steam curl in the amber light. Another somatic anchor to the now. You might wrap yourself in a heavy, knitted blanket, letting the physical weight remind your nervous system that you are contained, held, and protected. We aren't trying to fix the observer. We are simply showing them that it is safe to come down from the rafters. You don't have to be on anymore. You don't have to monitor the emotional weather of everyone else. You are allowed to just be. This is how we prevent the burnout that so often follows deep emotional work. We don't demand a total transformation overnight. We just ask for a little more presence than we had yesterday. In the coming days, you might find the old habits of dissociation returning. When they do, don't meet them with judgment or frustration. Meet them with a soft exhale. Say to yourself, I am here, and I am allowed to take up space. This is the maintenance of the soul. It is the ritual of checking in, not to see if you're doing it right, but to see if you're still home. We are reconstructing a life where you are the protagonist, not just the silent observer in the wings. It's a quiet, revolutionary act to simply exist within your own skin without apologizing for the air you breathe. This sanctuary we've built tonight is always here for you. You can return to the archive whenever you need to translate the silence into ink. But for now, let the shadows be soft and protective. Let the echo of our conversations settle into your bones. You have done the hard work of landing. Now let yourself rest in the beauty of the arrival. The glass is gone, the door is unlocked, and you are finally here. Word count, 588. Awaiting, continue. Take a moment now to breathe into the stillness of this room. If you felt a sense of safety here today, if you felt the weight of your own presence beginning to return, perhaps leave a small white heart in the space below. It is a quiet signal to the others that you have arrived. Remember, there is a profound, aching beauty in being both imperfect and safe. End of script.